Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael. Instead of doing one individual video for each of these characters, I just figured I would do one large video, kind of highlighting each aspect of these new toys, and seeing just how different they are from the original versions that we got. For the packages, you can see that each one has the individual character on the actual card back, as well as a color-coordinated kind of nameplate here. You got the open clamshell that shows all the accessories as well as the figure, and then on the back, each one has kind of this rundown of all the figures that are currently coming out, including all four of the turtles. You have a couple versions of the turtles in the disguises. Now, whether or not we're going to get those is another story, but what's funny is there's no Donatello. You got Leonardo in his stealth suit, Michelangelo in a pirate costume, and Raphael in a wingsuit. There's no Donnie. So where's the Donnie love, people? You got Casey Jones, Splinter, Shredder, the Foot Soldier, Bebop, and Rocksteady, as well as Krang. And then it says, New York City, an old menace returns. New mutations arise. The ultimate showdown approaches. Our heroes must rise up again to save the city they love, even if it means exposing themselves for who they truly are, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then, of course, you got Playmates.com, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Movie.com. You can check out all that stuff. But it does, I mean, looking at it, these actually do look a lot better than the original ones, both in terms of the paint applications as well as just the overall sculpting. And then each of them, like I was saying, have the same bio and everything on the back of the package. But that's it, so without further ado, let's get these guys open and see how cool they actually are. So here we have Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael from the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, opened up and out of their packaging. And one thing that I'll say is that when it comes to the Turtles, Playmates really doesn't drop the ball very often. And these figures here really do show that. Now, the same can't be said for some of the other figures that they make, but when it comes to the Turtles, these actually look really very good. Now, starting off first with Leonardo, really like what the new look for these guys is. That's one thing that in terms of the film itself really does seem to impress me. The overall look has been improved, both in terms of, you know, the outfit that they're wearing, the actual CGI, things like that. It actually is really very impressive. Also with the figures here, that kind of level of detail really does seem to kind of translate. I really like what they did with, you know, the overall look of this. Now, granted, we haven't seen the movie yet, but the figures still look really very good. Now, as you can see, he does come with his katana accessories. They're just molded in this gray plastic. You come around here and you got the little sheaths right here that you can put them in. I do kind of wish that it wasn't blue, and that kind of stands out and looks a little bit weird. But hey, I mean, maybe it's that way in the movie. But I really like the detail that's put on here. The sculpting-wise for the actual body looks really very nice. You can see some nice paint detail that's added on for these straps on his right arm. On his left arm, he's got these white straps. I'm definitely seeing a lot of paint detail added on here. You can see you got this nice black strap. I honestly, it's kind of weird how like this goes underneath his shell. I don't know if it's like that, but I mean, you can see that this strap right here kind of comes around and it kind of holsters over this shoulder, and then this one goes underneath the shell. That's kind of a weird look. This is not removable like the previous Leo figure was, but you can see some nice detail for the shell. You come down here, you got some nice added detail for some waist paraphernalia. He is a much more kind of slender looking figure, and by that I mean he doesn't have a lot of extra accessories on him like in the previous sort of look. Now I'm getting this lifted up, you can see that leg detail isn't all that bad. You got some nice silver paint right there. You can see that he's wearing these kind of shorts, but you can come around here and see that on the back there was some molded detail that probably could use some extra paint. They kind of look like pouches, so maybe that's why they decided not to paint it. But one thing that I really do like is that he's got these kind of wraps around his calves and the ankle area, and then you can even see that on the inside here you got this green painted detail. A lot of times that would have been completely overlooked. So that's really nice to see, and it just creates that look that he's wearing these wraps around his actual legs. You got his little kind of dojo looking shoes and such. So overall, really good detail. Articulation wise, the head is on a ball joint. Because of the position of it, I mean, you can see it kind of comes off very easily. The best articulation is kind of just going side to side like this. You can kind of rotate it, but in doing so, it kind of pulls it out of the actual ball socket, so you can rotate it and it looks good from that angle, but you can definitely see it's coming out. So you do have that. You have a pin hinge joints here at the shoulder, so you can move them in and out. You can rotate them all the way around. Same kind of joint system here at the elbow. You can see that because of the way that the arm comes down here, you can only get this guy moving about that far for that arm, but you do get a further range of motion on the opposite arm, which is pretty nice. You do have a wrist rotation in both hands. Nothing at the waist, obviously, because you would ruin that kind of shell image. And then the hips here are on those pin hinge joints, so you can move them forward and back. You can rotate them out, and then you can get the outward motion. Same kind of thing here with the knee. You can move it forward and back, and you can rotate it. So lots of articulation in these figures. That's kind of standard for the actual turtle figures. We always get figures that are very heavily articulated, but as I'm dropping them, but for comparison here is a new Out of the Shadows Leo. And here's the original version, and again, you can see just the evolution of the look of the character and how they scaled down what he's actually wearing. Also, you're noticing that the color tone of the turtles is a little bit different. He's a little bit more lighter of a color. I don't know necessarily if that's the way that it looks in the movie. I think they might have done that just for the toy. He does still look that way more in the film itself. But you can see just in general, I do think a much better looking figure here with the new guy. Like I said, I do like the original kind of look here for his sheaths. The blue it just stands out and looks a little bit more cartoony, I think. But you can see a lot of extra detail that's kind of put in there. Like I was talking about, you got the boots right here, which, I mean, you can't really see. Well, no, actually, yeah, you can. That this whole section right here should actually be painted green. You can see where his boots end down here, and this section right here should be the same color as his actual skin, but they didn't paint that. But I do like that they went a little bit further with some of the paint details on here. This also does have more articulation than the original one. A lot of the articulation is exactly the same, but the original figures had no actual wrist articulation, so that's something that was improved on here. But for Leonardo, that's what you have. And up next we have Michelangelo, and again, we have an updated look for the figure. It definitely still has a little bit more of that, kind of busy look in some of the things that he's wearing, but honestly, again, the way that they did the paint on here really does make these figures stand out so much nicer. Now, one part that I don't particularly like is, as you can see, he doesn't have a neck. I mean, you can still pop the head off, but you can see there's no neck there. All you have is the actual ball socket. So for his articulation, you're really kind of just rotating it like that. But the look is still pretty good on him, and honestly, he's actually a little bit more busy than the previous figure. Mostly in the back area here, because he's now wearing a backpack, which he didn't have before. But the overall coloring on here, again, really very nice. You can see you got the shoulder straps coming around here. You could see that underneath here, he does still have his silver necklace, but you can see that the silver is painted around here, and then around the back it doesn't, which honestly, you don't even see that. So that works out perfectly fine. You do have some glasses right here, and you can see some nice silver paint put on there. He no longer has those arm wraps that the original toy had. This one just has a couple extra straps, and then you got an orange pair of straps here on this arm, then you got some black ones on that side. With the exception of Leonardo, all the turtles now have some color on their arm, but Leo, as you can see, has the blue around his actual waist. So there's more color that's thrown in here. One thing that I don't particularly like on Mikey here is you can see, and it's kind of hidden, it's not too bad, but you can definitely see it, is right here you have the green section that's actually the joint pin. That kind of stands out and looks a little bit ugly. Both he and Raph have that, and I'm not a big fan of it, but you can see that he does still kind of have shorts down here. You can see more exposed legs, though, this time around. And then he's wearing full-on shoes, which he kind of had some weird ones before, but we'll take a look at that here in a little bit. For his accessories, he does come with his nunchucks. They are done in this orange plastic. One thing that's just actually kind of cool is they are kind of sculpted in a kind of wavy kind of way, so it gives a little bit more of a dynamic kind of look for it. But you can come around here to the back and you can see that he's got little hook thingies on his actual backpack that you can store him. And then he comes with a fairly large accessory, which is something that I didn't expect. But he comes with, I guess you could say, like a rocket-powered skateboard. You can see you got some orange wheels here. The rest is done in this just dark gray plastic, but you got like these little bits right here that kind of look like they're rockets. And then he's got little peg holes here on the bottom. You can put that there, you can put that there, and you can not really get his head positioned in a good way to look like he's skating on it, but you can really kind of get some cool looks here with his legs and everything. I mean, you're gonna have him go like that to kind of look forward, but yeah, I mean, that's actually kind of a cool accessory to include with Michelangelo. Now, again, his articulation is all the same. You got the ball joint here, you got the pin hinge, you do have the wrist articulation, which the original figure didn't have. So all that same articulation that was on Leo is present now on him. But for some of the comparisons, here is the Out of the Shadows version. Here's the original one, and you can see what I was talking about with like the change here for his pants. I mean, he still has the jacket that's wrapped around him, you know, that kind of takes up a lot of extra space, but the pant kind of detail was definitely changed. I mean, as you can see, he's got like this kind of spandex looking thing going on there. I'm just throwing his nunchucks, but you can also see, like, I mean, while there is still some decent paint applications on here, you got like his knee pads here that weren't painted, but you got some painted detail for the knee pads here. I mean, you got the orange pant leg here where you got the black section there. You can see that his arms have been changed. Like I was talking about, he's got the wraps on here on the original figure, whereas they're more streamlined and toned down on the new one. And then you come around to the back, and then you have, obviously, the backpack. Again, you got the color for the figure is a little bit lighter than the original one. Head sculpting looks about the same, but it definitely has a little bit more streamlined of a lip kind of look, which does look really good. And then you can see also he's got the shoes down here with the little toes kind of sticking out, that now he just wears a full pair of shoes. But in general, again, I definitely think that there is an improvement here. He had the same kind of problem that this now, because I've kept this on an angle for so long, kind of makes the ball joint a little bit loose. But he definitely had a little bit lacking of a neck sort of look on this figure as well. But yeah, I mean, it does definitely look like he's a little bit bulkier of a figure now, especially kind of in the head area, but also primarily here in the whole shoulder area. I mean, he definitely looks like he's got more of a kind of hunch look on the original one than the new guy, but it does kind of look like his head sits a little bit lower than his shell. So the design definitely changed, but I do think that it improved, and the new one does look better. And now coming to Donatello, this is definitely one of the figures out of all of them that I really do feel kind of improved the most overall in terms of the look. Yeah, again, I'm not 100% certain if this is the look that he's going for in the new film, but in terms of the toy, I really do like it. One of the aspects that I absolutely love is the fact that they actually got his glasses on there. Now, some people didn't like that really in the movie. I thought it was hilarious. Donatello has always been my favorite Ninja Turtle, and I just think that just works perfectly. I mean, yeah, it stereotypes him and everything, but, you know, I don't take it all that seriously. I just have fun with it, and I think that he turned out really cool looking. You can also see that now he's got this really heavy-duty backpack. He had a backpack before, but not as extensive as this. It kind of looks like the Proton Pack here. Comes with a couple different accessories. He's got headphones here, which I guess... I pulled off Donatello's head. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can... I haven't tried this yet, if you can actually get those on there. Yeah, you can stretch that over there and you can get those headphones on his actual head, but I decapitated him. You got his little bow staff weapon, which it's kind of weird that it has this little prong thing on here. It looks like it extends out, which is actually kind of cool. It gives it like this telescopic kind of look to it, but maybe you can And now it's just gonna fall right there. And then he does come with this little drone, which is just molded in this black plastic, but actually you can see a lot of nice detail on here. Obviously you have the propellers up here, come around here to the bottom, you got like this little camera kind of hangs on the bottom, but I mean, that's actually kind of cool. You got some nice legs right there, so you can just fly that around, which that's totally something that I can see Donnie having. And then just the overall look of the figure, again, very nice in terms of the updated kind of look on it. I am noticing a couple of paint details that are kind of lacking here, mostly right here in his arm, but in general it does look really good. You got some nice silver painted up here, which, I don't know, those kind of look like GoPros. I don't know if that's what they're supposed to be, but it definitely looks like it. The whole backpack here is just molded in this black plastic. But like I was talking about before, you do get, you know, some extra colors in terms of the strapping here. So you got some purple here on his arms, his hands, and down here on his thigh. One thing that I'm noticing, I'm trying to see, it does appear that he's wearing full-on pants, though. As I'm looking here, you got these green pants, you got the black painted section right here, you got the black, the knee pad itself, and then you got the orange and purple down here. But this actually looks like it's full-on pants, so it does look like he's wearing, you know, full pants in this, as opposed to the first one where, honestly, I just looked at it, I can't even tell you what he was wearing, but you got some nice boot detail down there. Articulation-wise is the exact same. His head does rotate. You got the pin hinge joints here. You got the pin hinge joints for the elbow. You do have wrist swivels right there, which, again, all these new figures do have, and then you got the pin hinge joints for the hips as well as the knee. Now, for the comparison with his previous version, getting him to stand there, because I'm a little bit further out, my table's a little bit more rounded up here, so I'm getting him to balance. Here is that original one, and again, you can see that the color is vastly different. One of the overall looks that I do like on the new guy is the fact that with the pants, it looks like his legs are a little bit thicker. But again, you can come around here and you can see how they had the strapping, and then it just stopped on the leg. And then I don't even know, I mean, you got these little bits right here. You don't have that anymore on the new figure. Getting these lifted up, I mean, yeah, it's just like all the extra painted detail was completely ignored on this previous version, and then this one has all that stuff on there. I wonder if you can actually swap out the heads. If you wanted to, oh yeah, you actually could, but you can see that the skin tone is a little bit different. Again, I do think that the originals have a little bit more of that movie-accurate skin tone than the new guys do. I do think that they're going with a little bit more of a cartoonish kind of look. But in general, like I said, I do think that the improvement on the new Donnie here is much nicer than what we have on the previous one. And I'm just, again, it's a little bit hard to stand. I mean, if I put him in the center here, he stands a lot better. But up here, it's a little bit more angled, so I'm having a little bit harder of a time getting him to actually stand. But in general, like I said, I do think the look is much nicer on the new figure than the previous one. It's not to say that the previous one was bad, but I do think that the color tone for the skin is better on the old guys. And finally, here we have Raphael. And again, really great update to the actual character. One thing that I was talking about before, Mikey had it as well, you got these weird looking color pins here. Now, Leo and Donnie, they did a good job of actually color matching this to the rest of their legs. So I don't understand why with Raph here and Mikey, they couldn't do the same thing. It's a little bit unfortunate, but again, I guess you could kind of hide it-ish with his little... I don't even know. What is this, like a sock or something? I don't even know what this is. As you can see, it goes around and then disappears underneath his little shell here. So, I'm thinking sock. I'm going to call it a sock. You can see that he does come with his size. I don't think that they're the same sculpt as the original ones. But you do have... in this, I don't understand either. And obviously, there's no instructions, because... why do you need really instructions other than, well, I don't know what to do with this. You got these little peg things here on the back that you can kind of do this with. That kind of seems to make sense, I guess. But then you also have these ones up here. I don't know what that's actually supposed to hook onto. Maybe it's these little guys, because these are his other accessories. Maybe you do that. I don't know, and I honestly don't even know what these are supposed to be. I mean, we haven't seen the movie, so maybe these are pickaxes or something. I have no idea. They are sculpted differently. This kind of looks like a little seahorse, so a little seahorse. I guess you could take these and put them up there as well. It does kind of create a little bit of a problem. I mean, they don't sit there all that great, but I think that's what these are for. You do have this weird sort of thing where these actually look like they're separate pieces that poke through his pants, which is strange. I don't understand why they just didn't sculpt this all in one piece. The decision making on that is just kind of strange, but the overall look for this guy definitely is cool as well. Again, paint applications are really very nice on it. He does have this little harness thing right here with what look like little tiny ninja stars along the side. So you got some nice sculpted detail. Again, I like how they actually painted all the way around here on things like these straps on his legs. He does have his full-on red bandana, which is how it looks now. You got the black section right here. You got little armor bits right on here, and then again you got the red kind of painted on in sporadic areas, like some red here, and then again you got some red that's kind of painted underneath the brown here. So it's like they painted that red, and normally they would have ignored something like that. So that's really very nice to see. I really dig that. For the comparison to his previous version, getting these kind of out of the way, again, color-wise, much darker, but you're also seeing that, the proportions on him look a little bit better, I think. It's overall not much of a difference, but I think that, the color on this looks really good. I am noticing a lot more texturing on these older figures. Like on the side here, you can see some scales and stuff. There is still some texturing on this, but not to the same detail level as the previous figures. I don't mind it, honestly, if they, took that out to give us some more, paint details or something like that. I'm really very happy with it, but again, you can see a big difference in terms of the actual chest. One thing that I've been talking about is the coloring and everything like that. His shell is actually a lot more consistent with the previous version. You can see he's got this huge kind of do-rag thing on his previous self. It's a lot more toned down here on the new one. Again, I don't know if that's the way that it looks in the movie, but just overall a much, I think, nicer looking figure, honestly, and he doesn't have the little sock thing. So again, color-wise, I definitely think that the previous versions are better, but the overall look for them is just so much more improved on here. The articulation is basically the same. You got a different angle for every one of their necks, so it just depends on how you want to rotate it. You got the pin hinge joints all the way around through the arm. You got the swivel here at the wrist, pin hinge for the hips as well as the knees. So lots of articulation in these guys. Really well done. I'm really very happy with these new turtles. I definitely think that there was a lot of improvements that were done to them, and I'm really happy with how these guys turned out. So getting his little sai back in his hand. For the turtles, that's it though. But that's it. That's my look at the new Ninja Turtle figures from the upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. As you can see, looks-wise, I really do feel that Playmates upped the ante with these guys. The paint detail really is top-notch. Even better than what we got, I think, on the original ones. The other thing that really is dramatically improved on here, and it's really strange because it's just one added piece of articulation, but the posability on these figures dramatically improves when you add wrist joints. I remember with these ones, you couldn't really do too much with it, so you were kind of stuck always rotating things around here at the elbow. With having wrist joints on here though, you can get a much better look when you're actually posing these guys. So while I really enjoyed the first figures and even the first movie, it does seem like the second movie, including the figures, is getting a bit of an upgrade. I was definitely not really expecting that much when it comes to these figures, but I was absolutely pleasantly surprised. So if you're interested in picking these guys up, they are available right now at various retail locations. Or as always, there's Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on these guys, as well as the rest of the Playmate Ninja Turtle line. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget to please like and comment, and be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you never miss a future review of mine. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.